Uh, just the video, but I think should be okay.
You don't need to look at me anyway. You're not missing out. Just stare at your own picture the entire time. Where are you, Sam?
I'm at the Fitchburg Staybridge Suite in Madison.
Oh, okay. How far is that from the venue?
It's about a 10-minute drive. It's not too bad.
Did you get in the kayaks today?
Yes, we did. We got in the kayaks. We tried on our little flippers. Yeah, it was good fun.
Did
Kayaks
you?
are not too bad, I don't think.
Oh, you're cutting out pretty bad. You're pretty choppy. I didn't even hear what you said. I wonder if there's a better place in your room. You're in a hotel room?
Yeah, let me go around the room.
Now it's great.
It's fine over here?
Yeah, can you stand on one leg and then hold your other hand over your head?
Yeah, you bet.
Be a human antenna. So you got in the you got in the kayaks and it wasn't so bad?
Is it gone again?
No, you're good. Do you hear me good?
Yeah, this is annoying.
I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, no problem. Just let me know if I need to okay. If I need to move, you tell me and I'll move around.
Yeah, this is much better. So tell me about the kayaks. I mean, I know you spend a lot of time in a kayak anyway because you kayak back and forth between the Big Island and Ireland all the time, right?
Yeah, it's a daily thing for me. I'm a kayak expert. Today's kayaks were pretty good. So we did a little practice swim. They bussed us out to the lake. We did a little practice swim with the flippers. It's a bit different with the flippers. The lake is a bit smelly, which is okay. Yeah, it stinks a bit. And then we got in the boat. It was a bit choppy. There's a bit of wind out there, but it wasn't too bad. And then we kind of just, I think, someone was trying to do the maths. So it's 3 miles of kayaking. And someone was saying, they were looking at their Garmin. They were saying their top speed is 1 mile every 17 minutes. So it's going to take it's going to be an hour of minimum of kayaking.
And you swim first.
You swim first. So you swim a mile, which is kind of around the edge. They have buoys around the edge of the shore. You go up 800 meters, come back 800 meters. You do a swap, and then you're out across the full lake on your kayak.
Sam Stewart is from Ireland. He took third place or fourth place, depending on who you ask, in the CrossFit Lowlands Throwdown. And he did not have to come through the last chance qualifier. He handled his business. In what was a very, very close race. You were less than 30 points behind the great Carl Gudmundsson. I would have said his first name, but I think I'd fuck it up.
Me too.
So you're coming in with some confidence.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think there's no reason not to be confident.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Well, you're hanging around these athletes. Today we were hanging around the athletes all day. And there's no one, everyone there is a human. No one looks as big as they do on Instagram. No one looks, and everyone has skin, flesh, blood. It's not, there's no superheroes. Now, some people might pull out a superhero kind of level performance, but that's just what happens. It's not them, They're not a superhero. They're not any different from anyone else.
There are people that have enormous advantages. For example, Colton Mertens. Like you said, that lake smells bad. He works on a pig farm. That lake smells great to him.
He loves it.
So he's going to have an enormous advantage in the lake because he's going to be in bliss there while the rest of you softies are going to think it smells bad.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to be squirting out the water like a fountain.
That's a great visual. I'm going to ask you a question that people are going to love because they're going to just get to destroy me in the YouTube comments. Is there kayaking in Ireland?
I mean, I think I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I don't know if I think it's as big as any other kind of outdoor water sport. It's probably bigger than paddleboarding, like the prone paddleboard that everyone was practicing.
Yeah.
I think that's not very big. I see a lot of people doing stand-up paddleboards, not as a sport, but as kind of recreational.
Yeah.
But I think kayaking, or like even some sort of rafting, it's definitely done.
Yeah. I'm in California, and basically every third garage in the suburbs that you drive by with the door open, you see a kayak in the garage. I mean, it probably doesn't get used, but you see it. You see it a lot. And I just wasn't sure if that, each country has its own things. I've never seen a cricket paddle in anyone's garage in the United States, so I never know what exactly people are doing.
Fair enough.
And you were training with the great Max El Haj, and who Travis Mayer comes from that pedigree. What's that been like?
Oh, fantastic! So I started working with Max just like kind of December, January time, so pretty much all of this year. But I got to go over and train with him in person the last 2 weeks as soon as we got our kind of travel pass from Homeland Security or the FBI, whoever it was, someone scary sounding. And then, so I was training with Travis, I was training with Noah, Sandra. It was a good crew. It was good to actually have your coach in person, because most of the year has all been online. Max would text me, I'd have a Zoom call. It'd be like this. It's not as good as in person, but it'll do. But so it was really good to hang out. First of all, he's a cool guy, and second of all, get some kind of feedback in the moment, like when he's looking at you.
How tall are you?
5'9".
And how much do you weigh?
In pounds, I'm not sure, but about 87 kilo. I think that's 190 something.
Okay, so you're the perfect CrossFitter, 190 something, 5'9".
You bet.
Was it so? That's the first time. 2 weeks ago was the first time you ever met Max and team in person?
No, so I met Max at some training camps in the past, but it was the first time while I was getting coached by him that we were training in person. Yeah.
And when you show up there 2 weeks ago, what is the vibe between you and Travis and Noah? Is there a lot of butt sniffing, or is it just, you know how like dogs do that? Yeah. Or is it pretty much just family right away?
Definitely a mix. To be fair, those guys are super, super cool. There was no like cold shoulders. It was all, let's get training. What's cool about CrossFit is everyone kind of speaks the same language, You could speak a completely different language, but when it's time to snatch, you both speak the same language there, So we all had a common interest, competing, CrossFit, just hanging out, being idiots, that kind of stuff. So
there was no posturing. It wasn't like you went over to grab a barbell and Travis is like taps you on the shoulder and shakes his head. No, that one's mine.
No, none of that.
Okay. Just checking. I just got to make sure my boy Travis is squeaky clean.
Yeah, fair. We got to keep his record good. I'll get you the real dirt on Travis Mayer.
Oh, thank you. Yes. yes. That would be a great title for a podcast.
Yeah.
The real dirt. Have you met his kids and family?
No, I didn't.
Because why not? Because it's all business this last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think he was super busy, and I think he wanted to. I think his schedule's quite tight. Like, he wanted to. Obviously, he's away for a full week now, so he wanted to be at home as much as possible. And he has a cool switch. Like, he's at the gym. It's all gym business. Obviously, we're messing around, but it's like, let's train. And then when he gets home, I think he kind of flicks the switch, and he's the family man.
Gotcha. And how old are you?
Just turned 24.
Wow. Okay. And are you married?
No.
Do you have kids?
No.
And did you come over here by yourself?
I did, but my girlfriend traveled here just yesterday. She got here yesterday.
And is that a good thing or is that a distraction?
No, I think it's a good thing. She's not. She'd be the first to tell me if I'm getting out of line.
Is she an Irish woman?
Yep.
And so I noticed on your Instagram that it looks like in a previous life you were a fighter. Is that correct?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I used to do kickboxing, Chinese kickboxing, which is like Muay Thai, but it has takedowns.
Okay.
But no jiu-jitsu, so you hit the floor and then you get back up. And then I used to do kung fu as well, like growing up.
And then were you pivoting towards MMA?
At one point, I definitely was, but it was kind of just a time where I could go MMA or I could go CrossFit, and just the way I was still in secondary school or high school, I just kind of floated towards CrossFit a bit more.
It just seemed, when you say floated, meaning you would go to the gym and you would gravitate more. You started noticing if you were spending 2 hours a day doing combat sports, all of a sudden you were doing an hour of CrossFit, hour of combat sports, and then some days you just started going in and just doing CrossFit, and just the combat sports kind of faded.
That's pretty much it. There was no exact decision to leave behind martial arts. So it was definitely kind of a slow fade through.
Have you done any fights?
Yeah, I had. I think I had 20 fights, but they were all.
Wow.
They were all. Well, most of the time I was under 18. So most of the time you're fighting other guys that are under 18. But I fought in the 18 plus category as well when I was not 18.
Gotcha. And was it an Ireland outfit? An outfit that's based in Ireland?
Yeah, so it was all Irish except I went to a competition in Romania as well. It was like a European championship thing.
And was it called kickboxing or was it called Chinese kickboxing?
So it's Chinese kickboxing, which is called Sanda or Sanshao, which is. Did you ever watch the UFC fighter Kung Lee?
Yeah.
So that was his background. He had the same. That was the same sport.
Okay. And you're born in Ireland?
Yep. From Dublin.
Your accent, Dublin?
Yeah.
Your accent is so, I was going to use the word weak, but there's a better word. It's not strong. You're very easy to understand.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. I have a kind of a neutral accent. I'm not too gimmicky. There's some people. So I travelled over with some people here from the north of Ireland, and when we were at the gym, at Travis's gym, they were saying it was kind of hard to understand the northern accent, but saying mine was kind of a bit more clear.
Yeah, you almost have to listen clearly to realize that you're from Ireland. Like some sentences you say, you sound like you're just from the States.
Oh, really? I've been spending too much time here, obviously.
Do your parents sound like that too?
Yeah, my mum definitely does. My mum has a very clear voice. My dad maybe had a little more so accent.
Do you have siblings?
I have one younger brother.
Okay, and is he doing CrossFit?
No, he doesn't.
Does he like CrossFit?
I don't think so. I don't think it's not his. It's not his scene.
How old is he?
He's 22, so he's 2 years younger than me.
I bet you he's going to get into it.
I
bet you're going to have an influence on him.
I really don't. I really doubt it.
You do?
Yeah. It's just not his. It's just not his. Not his thing. You know, his things are different.
Do either of your parents do it?
No, but they do. My dad does like general fitness classes. He'd follow along a bit on like at the competitions and stuff, but he's easily confused. We were watching the team competition at one of the semi-finals recently, and team competitions are hard to follow sometimes if you don't know what's going on. So it was
Yeah, I was going to say, in defense of your dad, sometimes it's quite the shit show out there.
Yeah, it is for sure.
When I learned CrossFit, I mean, I could not, for the life of me, I was 34 years old, and for the life of me, I could not like remember snatch, clean and jerk, push press, like all those things. I'm just like, whoa, I'm never gonna learn all this burpees. Like I was just like, I'm never gonna learn. It's like learning a whole new language. But it's weird because now that we're in it, it's like just you can't imagine not knowing it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I remember what confused me was snatch, power snatch, hang power snatch, and I was like, what the fuck? I haven't a clue.
Yeah, too many.
Yeah, way too many.
So you're born in Dublin. You're the first kid to your parents, and did you have a pretty normal life as a child? Just basically go to school. Are your parents still together?
Yep. Yeah. Fairly normal enough. Yeah.
And when did you start realizing you like sports and moving your body?
I'd say I was 11 or 12. When I was like young, in school, the school I was in was kind of like you had to play sports, and everyone was there's pressure to play sports, and I just didn't like being told I had to play. You had to play basketball, you had to play hockey, you had to play rugby. I didn't like being told to play, and I didn't like, to be honest, I didn't like the people who were on the same team as me. So then when I was like leaving primary school or elementary school, I think, for you guys, I found martial arts, and I liked the fact that, if anything went wrong, it was only me, and I didn't have to rely on anyone else. I guess I wasn't, I didn't fancy being on a team, and I wasn't too good with the ball. I wasn't going to kick the ball very well, but I could kick someone in the balls pretty well,
So in the martial art and all those other sports were inside within the school system, and martial arts was outside. It was somewhere you went after school.
Yeah, exactly.
And did you embrace it pretty quickly? Was it just one day a week, or did you right away just start going every day?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Like at first, I think it was like you had to go 3 times a week was like the thing you signed up for, and then suddenly I was going 6 days a week. And I was progressing through pretty quick because I was like kind of getting obsessed with it quite quickly.
And you started at 12 years old.
Yeah, 11 or 12. I think it was 11 or 12.
And are there belts? Tell me the name of the Chinese kickboxing again. What's it called? Asana?
Sanda.
Sanda.
Yeah. Sanda.
Sanda. Are there belts in it?
So there was belts. So there's 2 sides of that kind of gym. So there was the sports side, which was the Sanda, the kickboxing, and then like your traditional martial arts, so like the kung fu. So they kind of blended both in the same gym. So there was belts in the kung fu side of things, and then the Sanda was kind of strictly sport focused. So you're like competitions in 6 weeks. Let's train for that sort of thing.
And so you were doing both simultaneously from when you were 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And how many belts? What belt did you get up to in kung fu?
Black belt. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool to say. I forget I am even. Just saying it now, I remember that's a cool thing to say.
And how many years did that take you to get that?
I remember being told I was the quickest guy to get there, and it took about 5 years.
Wow, that does seem really fast.
Yeah, but it was from the start. It was like I quickly became obsessed. It was like a 7 day a week focus. It wasn't like it quickly became the front focus on my mind, as opposed to like for most people it's like a thing I do after other stuff,
Right. Would there be days that you would go to the dojo or the gym 2 times in one day?
Yeah, if I had time off school, I'd usually end up doing that.
Yeah, okay. And were you, so it's interesting because, and you've obviously embraced CrossFit the same way. You've become obsessive about it. Obviously, you've embraced it completely, the lifestyle. Did you know you were like that before you found Kung Fu? Or was that the first expression of that in your life? Like, did you ever before then draw every day, or?
Maybe a little. Like, yeah, I was maybe looking back. I don't think I ever realized it until then, in the present moment. But I think looking back, like I'd play the guitar. I'd have to sit there till I could play a song a certain way or correctly or whatever. I think even younger, I like to draw pictures and stuff, like really young, whatever. But I think in the present moment, I was like, martial arts, because you're surrounded by people, and people would say, wow, you're here all the time, or look at you, you're doing something well, or something, you know, you progress quickly, or whatever it is. Like when you're sitting in your room playing the guitar, you don't know that.
Right. Oh, right. So you're getting outside accolades or recognition
or something, and then that kind of makes you realize, oh, okay, I am a bit obsessed or a perfectionist in whatever way.
And so you're 16, 17 years old, you're finishing in high school, and you get a black belt in Kung Fu. And when does CrossFit come along?
So CrossFit came along for me early as well. I was about 14 when we started doing CrossFit. My PE teacher...
So 10 years ago, you have 10 years of CrossFit experience?
Pretty much. Not full exposure, wow. But like we were doing kettlebells and running,
okay.
and kipping pull-ups, and you know, kind of stuff that a 14-year-old's more likely to do. My PE teacher was well too qualified to be a PE teacher, well overqualified. He actually, interesting guy. He was the head referee for MMA in Ireland. He was, if you ever look at Conor McGregor's first fight, where he's in his like swim trunks in like a boxing ring, the referee is my PE teacher.
Oh, that's awesome! What a great story.
It's very cool. Him and John Kavanagh, McGregor's coach, like were kind of came up the ranks of jiu-jitsu in Ireland together. I'm pretty sure Jonesy, my PE teacher, was the first Irishman to ever fight in a cage. So like, you know, if you messed up in PE, you look at this guy, scary looking guy, you know, you're not gonna mess too much more. But I quickly, like, I think we became fond of each other because of martial arts, and he was big. He's quite knowledgeable in strength and conditioning, and he was doing a lot of CrossFit. So he had a kind of thing where he'd put up a workout of the day on a notice board at lunchtime, and then you'd look at the workout, and you'd show up after school, and there'd be a group of lads there to do the workout. And I was probably 14, but I think the rest of the guys were up towards the end of the school. They were 17, 18. So I was definitely one of the younger guys doing it. And then that
did he call it CrossFit? Did Jonesy call it CrossFit?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. I need to see a picture of him. I wonder if I know what he looks like. I wonder if I've ever met him before. Because in 2011, the community was really small. Even though there were, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 gyms, we really all, a lot of us knew each other.
Yeah.
A lot of us knew each other. It was crazy, especially places like Ireland. You would know the people who were kind of the big deal in each country.
Yeah.
And so he actually called it WOD? He would put WOD on the...
there's a workout of the day, WOD. You'd print it on a piece of paper and just like tack it to a board. And you'd almost bump into all the guys looking at it there that day. You'd just pass a comment, oh, those thrusters are going to be hard. See you after school, And
so the kids who went there were kids who gave a shit. Because they could be off chasing girls or throwing rocks or smoking weed or going home and watching TV, and instead these were the boys and girls that... Did girls show up too?
Not so much to this, but there was plenty of... actually, sometimes there were, but it was more like you'd scale it or whatever differently. I don't think they had the same interest.
Well, good. The boys needed a head start because now the women are fucking taking over the sport.
You bet. No, definitely.
It's crazy. So I need to get that guy on the... What's Jonesy's full name? I need to get him on the podcast. What a great guest. What's his name?
David Jones.
His full name, do you know?
David Jones.
David Jones. Are you still in contact with him?
Yeah.
Is he tripping on the fact that he introduced you to this and that you've just taken it to the highest level?
I think he's definitely... a little bit impressed, because what he was telling me recently is like every year, because he's a PE teacher, every year the kids come in like younger and younger, and the kids every year are slightly less coordinated, slightly less willing. They've spent far more time on their Nintendo DS or whatever it is. Every year it's a different story. Like when I was in school, he even just said it the other day, like when he said like, oh, congrats and can't wait to watch you compete. He was saying like, I don't have anyone in the school currently looking to do any of the same things as me and my friends are kind of looking to do. You know, even though I've only been out of school 5 years, I think. You know, yeah, it's a bit shit. It's a bit sad.
Brother.
I see your
Sorry,
kids.
I can't resist. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here.
No worries.
The number one correlate for death in the United States, I can't speak for Ireland, but I bet you it's the same.
I guarantee it's
Heart
the same.
disease, cancer, COVID, all of these deaths, all of these people, the vast majority, sorry, I won't say all these people, the vast majority of people who are dying from these things, we're not telling the truth. What it is they're obese. And And recently there was a study released in the United States that during the last 18 months, the number of kids with type 2 diabetes in the United States has doubled. If they're reporting it's doubled, that means it's quadrupled or more, because we know so many people do not go to the hospital. And what a travesty it is. It's not... what a travesty it is that the leading correlate for premature death is obesity, and during the last 18 months it skyrocketed, when if anything it should have been going down. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think I saw in Iceland, I don't know if they still have this. Was it Iceland? It was some country, but basically they turn off the cable TV for a month every year.
Really?
They just, so no one in the country can have cable. And I'm not for government enforcement, but God damn, if they're going to enforce anything,
that's the one to do.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Force I even heard someone on the news station I watched the other day, one of the news anchors say, hey, this sucks to say this, but I think the world would be a lot better place if they forced all social media and media outlets to stop reporting for a month.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
I agree.
This is just insanity that people are getting more and more obese. And it's so sad to hear that from this guy, David Jones, a man on the streets working with the kids. It's so sad to see that kids are not building the habits and being exposed to the things that they need their entire life. You need that until the day you die.
Yeah.
I know kids don't understand that, so you have to trick them into believing that because they're like, everything's okay now.
Yeah.
But the reason people go to nursing homes is because they lose the mobility and the capacity to wipe their own ass. The second your parents can't wipe their own ass, you're like, get in a nursing home. And it's like, Greg Glassman used to say that the cornerstone of CrossFit is longevity. It's just mobility. It's just to be able to sit on the toilet, wipe your ass, and get off.
Well, that's all you're doing. You're squatting there, you know. It's
right.
It all goes full circle. Like, you do your squats now, you keep up the habits for life, and you know, as you said, you can wipe your ass and stand up and down off the toilet.
Have you ever experienced burnout? You've been going hard since you've been 12, physically 11. Have you ever experienced like, okay, enough of this shit, I'm just going to smoke weed with the boys and go to the lake and drink beers and chase girls?
For sure. Like, I think it's if I didn't, I think I'd be a psycho. You know, there's a balance there that you have to experience normal stuff as well. Like, you're not all. I think if you're only ever like an elite performer and you don't do anything else, how do you truly value being an elite performer because you don't know anything else?
I hear you, but what about this? And I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm asking you as a question. What about the fact that you're in the gym? If you're in the gym from when you're 11 to when you're 17 and you're training, 2 to 4 hours a day, what happens when you turn 17 and that focus turns to girls and drinking? Do you end up becoming like? I mean, there were years where I drank a 12-pack. My obsessive, like for me, it just transferred. Whatever I'm doing, I do obsessively.
Yeah.
So like if I really liked puzzles, I did puzzles for a year. But like if I liked drinking, then every morning the first thing I did is I walked to the liquor store and get a 12-pack. How do you like? Was it ever like that for you, where you just completely jumped away from working out and were just partying?
I never completely jumped away. It was always in the background, but there was definitely a point where maybe that transition phase, like I was saying, from like maybe 17 through kind of 19, where I wasn't like, I was definitely in a transition phase where I could afford to go drinking and partying, and you're starting college or whatever, so those opportunities are presented to you frequently and a lot more. So Like I went through that phase. It's almost like I'm glad I did it because now I don't crave any of it.
Right, right. And I wonder if this too. Now that you say that, I also know this. Even in that phase, when I was in that phase, I even like in college, there was 4 or 5 years where I was just basically drunk every day. I still had the habits where I would wake up in the morning, even if I was hungover. I would ride my bike to the Gold's Gym, and I would work out for 45 minutes. I would do the lat pull down machine and the bench press, and and all that shit. So I guess I still had the discipline. Did you work out through those years
Yeah.
also?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I remember just with the group of friends I was hanging out with as well, I was probably doing a lot more strength training, at that time. And I would still do like mechons, but it wouldn't be like, now it is like it can end up being like 40 minutes on a rower. There was none of that. It was like
No.
hang out with your friends, do some squats, do some bench, do your like bicep curls, and okay, we have 10 more minutes. Let's do like a burpees and power clean thing just for like a finisher kind of workout.
When you were 14, did Jonesy have a watch? Would he time your workouts?
Yeah, yeah. We used to do.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, we used to. It was for like things would be for time. We used to do these big workouts at the end of every like school, like term or semester, like Halloween, Christmas, Easter, and summer. We used to do these rescue workouts. So it was like a hero workout, but we called them rescue workouts because you either had to carry something or push a big sled for ages. So it's like you're rescuing something. And these workouts would be like north of an hour, big workouts. So I remember we had one called Christmas Rescue one year. And I can't remember. There was some sort of weird theme where it's like you're rescuing an elf, but really you're carrying a sandbag on your shoulder and you're running 800 meters for laps. And I remember these were all for time, and we'd because they were kind of big test workouts, I guess, that we'd keep score of, and it would be more of a competition kind of setting.
Yeah, when I first found CrossFit in 2000, summer of 2006, I remember my friend and I were at the gym at UC Santa Barbara in California, the University of Santa Barbara, and I think we were doing Fran, and we didn't know that you had to do it for time. So first we figured out what a thruster is, and Sam, you would do your 11 thrusters, then I would do my 11 thrusters, then we would look at some girls or drink some water and crack some jokes, then he would do his 10, I would do my 10, then we'd walk over to the pull-up bar and do our pull-ups. And even then, like that introduction to me, that's the way I did CrossFit for the first 3 months. And even then, the workouts were incredible, right?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, something is definitely happening to me. This is a brand new stimulus. And then finally, someone told me, no, you're supposed to time them, and fucking ruined CrossFit for me.
It's funny how it's funny how a small clock or just a watch will make someone change how they're doing something so quickly and so drastically.
It's fascinating to talk to someone at 14, to talk to someone who at 14 already knew that stuff, because that's so foreign. It's like a whole generation is now growing up knowing CrossFit, and it was so foreign to those of us who hung out in the gym before then, like ropes and rings and timing and actually doing pull-ups instead of lat pull-down. Like all that stuff was so foreign. Kettlebells. I mean, we had those, just weirdos use that shit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so when did you start thinking that you would compete in CrossFit? Do you remember your first competition?
Yeah, so my first competition was kind of in that transition phase. It was a competition at my own gym, just like a one-day event kind of thing.
Sorry, let me interrupt here. So let me go back one step before you talk about competition. So you went from doing them on the board in your school PE class, going after school, just volunteering, and then you made friends with the teacher because he was a martial arts guy and you were a martial arts guy. You'd been doing martial arts for like 3 years at the time. When did you switch to a gym? And was it a CrossFit gym?
Yeah, so in Ireland, in your fourth year of secondary school, you have kind of like we call it transition year. So it's less kind of studies focused, and you kind of do some outside the school stuff. Like you'll do like work experience and like outside like hikes and all sorts of weird shit.
Like work at a
Charity
veterinary
work.
clinic. Like
Yeah.
work at a veterinary clinic or the local dog shelter or some shit like that.
Exactly. So
Or a national park. Okay.
yeah, something like that. So my Jonesy got me set up to do a week's work experience at a CrossFit gym. So yeah, which is
That's
which is
awesome.
great. So I did that. I ended up staying or like becoming a member for the summer till September again when school opened up, so I could train CrossFit over the summer, and then I trained again the school year, and I trained there the next summer, and then
What was the name of the
that affiliate, CrossFit
Yeah.
Ireland. It was the first affiliate in the country, I think, or hence the name.
I know who Jonesy is.
Do you,
I know who Jonesy is. What's his wife's name?
Gillian Wallace?
And she trained there too. Oh no, who did they? They didn't own CrossFit Ireland.
No. They didn't.
Who owned CrossFit Ireland? Do you remember?
A guy named Colin O'Reilly.
And did he have a wife?
No.
Do they put on the filthy 150?
No, you're thinking of Jamie and Darina, who run CrossFit Bua.
Okay. Sorry.
Cool. I know them too. They're very cool people.
Yeah, I'm disgusted that I don't know who Jonesy is if he was there around 2011. So I was going to try to pretend like I did.
I don't know if he trained
Okay.
at an affiliate. He kind of followed it online more himself, you know. He used to
Okay, and what was the name of that first gym you went to? Say that again.
CrossFit
The one you
CrossFit Ireland.
the one you did the That's the one you did the internship at.
Yeah, and then I ended up working there for a few years.
Are they still open?
Yeah.
Because they could never get that name now. You know that? Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know. With the new regime, I don't know what kind of boundaries they're having on names, but that's awesome they got that name. Because when I worked there at HQ, we would never give anyone that name. So that's awesome they got it.
Yeah, I think they snuck in nice and early, got that name, and then just, never changed it.
Okay, sorry. So you started training there, and then at that point you were, so that's like around 17 years old.
Yeah, basically around that time.
Okay. Your computer battery's not going to die, is it?
Let me check. 51 minutes remaining. I'm going to check that though in 5 minutes. Might be lying. And I'll plug it in if I need to.
Okay.
So I trained there for the summers, and then I trained in school during the year. And then when I finished school, I started cleaning the gym sort of thing, so I could train there more. And then we went to the competition you just mentioned, the Filthy 150. That was, I guess, my first proper competition, but it was obviously on a team. It was a team of 4 competition until it became a sanctional.
And so when you went to that gym and you showed up there at 17 years old, where did you rank amongst the clients in terms of fitness?
I think
Were you pretty close to the top just going in from your 3 years with Jonesy?
Yeah, I think my cardio was definitely up there, and gymnastics, like pull-ups. I was always kind of good at pull-ups, but like strength, like you're 16, 17, you don't have that raw man strength yet that just some guy who's never even trained could be stronger than you because you're a skinny 17-year-old,
And then when do you start having? Was there ever a point when you started having? Do you remember when you started having aspirations to go to the games?
Yeah, I think it was always something that I thought would be really cool to do. I don't think I was ever not thinking about it, but I think when I made an actual kind of focus towards it was when I think I was 19, and I was just coming out of that kind of, okay, I'm drinking a bit more than is probably good. I'm saying that, but I was never off the rails. But
Right.
I wasn't super dedicated to anything, and I had been dedicated. I'd been dedicated to martial arts, so I had that inner need to dedicate myself to something. So then I was like, okay, let's make a good stab at this CrossFit thing. And I just recently, I think that was 2017. I was recently kind of just annoyed by my open performance. Like, I was strong, I had all the skills, but just wasn't fit. So I said to myself, okay, next year I'm going to do it. I'm going to get to, like, obviously regionals was always that pedestal goal for so long. So I fully went all in, dedicated myself for a year, stayed under the radar, no one knew where I was, and then next year, 2018, qualified for regionals. And that was my first individual competition.
So you were, if I'm hearing you right, you were really focused on just doing really well in the Open. You're like, hey, I don't want to be 27,000th. I want to see how good I can be in the Open.
Yeah.
And then you just became obsessed, and then you did good enough in the Open to get to the. Were you shocked when you made it to the regionals?
I think I was shocked, but I knew it wasn't an accident. You know, I'd worked hard.
And was any part of you like, nah, I'm not going to the regionals? That's just I did what I needed to do.
No, it was always no.
I'm scared. I'm not going to go to the regionals. No, that wasn't you.
That's not me. No.
Okay, and so and where were the regionals that year in 2018?
Berlin.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you fucking scraped the cash together, and went out there and did it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad traveling from Ireland to Berlin, because I think it was only a 2.5 hour flight. But yeah, we got it together. We got out there.
Did you know anyone else who qualified?
Yeah.
Or you just went out by yourself?
No, I knew a guy, PD Savage. He's from the north of Ireland. Is the
great name.
Best, yeah, I was about to say best name in the business.
Yeah.
So I trained with him a few times. I knew another guy, Arminus, who was this
great name. Great name. Being an Armenian guy, Arminus sounds like a great. It sounds like Armenian and penis put together. Arminus.
Nothing better. He was from Lithuania, but trained in Cork in Ireland, so I knew him as well. So I had some guys I knew to go, like, when I was there, so I wasn't totally out of the loop, you know.
And then how did you do there?
Pretty middle of the pack, like usually around 20th place. I had one workout where I actually finished second. I nearly won an event, which kind of took me by surprise. And then the next event I came like bottom 5. So it was like a really good workout, really bad workout, and then the rest of them kind of in the middle, you know.
So the media was like, oh my God, who's this guy? This is amazing. Oh, never mind. It was a fluke. He sucks.
Yeah, exactly. He's shit.
Did you have the girlfriend you have now, did you have her back then?
I just started going out with her then, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you kind of you have a witness to your
success, I guess. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, okay, so you come home from that regional, and then what? Are you reinvigorated?
Yes, for sure.
Are you looking at your battery?
Yeah, I'm going to plug it in.
Okay. Go for it.
Give me 1 sec.
Do it. Yeah, do it.
Cheers.
Do it. He stepped away from his computer. He took out his headset. I'm guessing he can't hear me right now, but I'm guessing his computer is like a 2014 laptop where the battery only lasts half as long as it claims it does. Maybe it's not even his computer. No. If he's plugging in, it is his computer. Okay, he's sitting back down, and now we will ask him. He's putting in the earphones. Sam, what year is your computer?
I have no idea. It's my mum's. I'm not a computer guy. Yeah.
I while you were gone, I was talking to the listeners, telling them I predict that your computer is a 2014 laptop, and if the battery says it's 100%, it's really only 50%.
I'd say it's about 2014. I'd say that's probably spot on.
Thank you. Okay, so you. What did you end up placing in that regional in 2018?
I think it was like 21st or 22nd.
Okay, out of 40 guys.
Yeah.
And so you come back and you're like, okay, that was a good run, time to get a job, or you're reinvigorated. You're like, oh shit, I can do this.
Yeah, I'm reinvigorated because someone said, look, you're 20 years old. You can go to regionals for the next 10 years if you want to. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's giving me a good focus. And I was kind of thinking, I don't want to just go to regionals for the next 10 years as well. Like, I'd rather get better every year and at some point qualify for the games.
And then so so then 2019, what happens?
2019. So I ended up kind of coaching myself a bit. So obviously, you're programming slightly biased to stuff that you probably enjoy a bit more. And that rowing and wall balls workout comes up. So it's the first workout at the Open. It's just engine, it's rowing and wall balls, and I just blow up. I try the workout 3 times and I get worse every time. And it's,
wow.
It's just not happening. So I'm like, that was the first year of the national champion. So I was like, okay, I'm in with a good shot as well. So I'm like 35th in Ireland after workout 1. And then I win like 3 or 4 of the next workouts. So it was that one workout I wasn't prepared for, and it just got me hard. So no real qualification that year, but ended up going to some.
Just so you know, listeners, they use that term differently in Ireland. When he says that workout got him hard, he doesn't mean it like the way we think in the United States. Okay, go on.
Well, maybe I do.
Okay, we'll leave it up to interpretation. Okay, go on. So 2019. It's 2019, and you bombed the first workout. Well, relatively bomb it. You still did great at it. You took 35th in Ireland, and then the next 3 workouts you won. You said.
I won the next one, and I won another one of them, and I think.
Okay.
And I wasn't even repeating them. I was just going once. I think I clawed my way back up to fifth in Ireland. I think it was. But it just wasn't good enough. But it was good enough to get me, or did I qualify to that? Anyway, I qualified for some sanctionals that year for some kind of competition experience, because regionals have been my only individual competition. So I needed to get some experience, And I always think, it's better, like coming from martial arts, it's, CrossFit's never going to punch me in the face. So,
right.
So I had competition experience, just not in the same kind of way.
Right. And then so you didn't qualify in 2019?
No.
And does that break your heart?
Yeah. So it was interesting.
Like, does that kind of piss you off that someone in Ireland's fitter than you? You're like, well, Jesus Christ, I want to go to the event where the fittest people in the world are, and I can't even beat all the people on my own fucking island.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better. That it's definitely that kind of feeling, you have an expectation of yourself, and then it's a harsh reality of, okay, fuck, I can't live up to it.
Was the dude who beat you in 2019, are any of those guys at the games this year?
This year, no.
Oh, fuck those guys then. What happened to them?
The guys who won the national champion spots are good. Like, they're legit athletes. One of them had a shoulder surgery within the last year, and the other guy who won the national champion the next year was I think he came 10th at the German throwdown. So still a decent showing.
Yeah, I'm seeing Tommaso from Ireland, Stefano.
I think that's the Italian flag.
You're right. It looks like the Irish flag just turned on its side. Oh, okay. So I don't see any other Irish men at the Lowlands throwdown.
No,
you were the only one
at the Lowlands. At the German, there was 2 other guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
They wanted to stay away from you.
You bet they did.
When you see these names, okay. So then 2020, what happens to you?
I was in good shape, and I just lost the national champion spot by 1 point. So it was a close race. So I felt better about myself that year, because I ended up placing, like, that year I was 1 point out of the national champion spot, but 2 of us Irish guys were in the top 40 worldwide of the Open. So It was a big step up.
And did that matter that you weren't a national champion in 2020? Did you still get to qualify?
I didn't end up qualifying that year, but I did go to a bunch of sanctionals. I went to like Dubai and Wadapalooza and big competitions that were probably the next best thing to the games.
And how were those? How did you do in Dubai, and how did you do at Wadapalooza?
Oh, I did really badly, actually. I did really bad.
I hear the competition is brutal.
It is. So,
Very stiff. Good guys, not a lot of workouts.
So I surprised myself by qualifying for Dubai, and I just went in the mindset of, I didn't go in with any mindset, really. You know, I went in and just went, look, let's see what happens, which is not the way to do things. And by the time I got to Wadapalooza, I had done 4 sanctionals in like 3 months or something crazy. And I was just, you're lacking motivation and your body is saying stop. So.
And is Max your coach at this point?
No.
Okay.
I think if I said that to Max now, he wouldn't be too pleased.
Because you just started with him in December of 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then, then the Open rolls around for 2021, and what was your goal?
The thing about the Open this year was kind of interesting was there was no real point to the Open if you're a good athlete. You know, it's just like qualify to quarterfinals and then worry about everything. So my goal was just to get to quarterfinals and then kind of smash quarterfinals, get to semis, and see what we could do.
And how did you do in the quarterfinals?
Quarterfinals, I came 16th in Europe, but
okay.
So what happened was I actually got a penalty on one of the workouts, like a major penalty. So I got 15% of my score added to my, or like of my time added to my time. So it's like a big penalty. So if I did the maths, I would have come like 5th or 6th.
What was the penalty? It was a virtual workout?
Yeah, so it was my lockout on handstand push-ups. Like that's as straight as my arm goes, but even there it doesn't even look straight.
Right.
But to be fair, it was a legit penalty. You know, I can't. You know, it looked really bad. I can't say I don't deserve it. So.
It's interesting. I wonder what the strategy is at the CrossFit Games. You know, like when you get pulled over by the police and they're like, always be honest. I feel like every time I've told the police that they pull me over and they're like, how many, you know, when I was younger, they would say, how many drinks have you had? And I would say 1. And then they pull me out of the car and fucking test me. And then if I say 0, even though I've had 6, I'm good to go. Yeah. But they still say to be honest. But anyway, I wonder if it's better to tell the judge at the CrossFit Games, hey, I don't lock out. Man, look at my arm. My arm, when I put it straight. It's not that your arm doesn't go straight. It's that you have look at your bicep.
It just looks.
You just have a giant bicep that I don't have. I wonder if it's better to tell your judge that your arm doesn't go totally straight, or if you say that, then you're fucked because they're just going to be looking at it the whole time.
Yeah, I wonder. I'll let you know.
Ask Max El Haj.
Yeah, he'll know. He's the man with the plan.
That's a Max question. Okay, so then when at the quarterfinals you're pumped. You're at this point now working to go to the games.
Yes, yeah.
And you make it to the semifinals.
Mm-hmm. So we thought semifinals still could have been in person. You know,
okay.
We didn't. They only kind of announced it maybe a month and a half before the actual event, saying, okay, it's online. So we didn't know what to expect. We could have been traveling to the Netherlands, or we could be staying home.
But you did it online. And look at this. I just got a text from Travis Mayer.
Oh, what's he saying now?
I was asking him about the kayak. I can't read you the text because that would be inappropriate to share.
Okay.
He said it was good. So, and why does that matter? Sorry, I was multitasking. Why does that matter whether you know if it's a virtual event or not a live event? You said it like that. That's important.
Well, it's just knowing what to expect. You know, if it's an online thing, you're going to train a slightly different way than if it's in person. You're going to have access to different equipment. You know, it's going to be slightly more like open-based equipment. You're not going to have super heavy dumbbells. You probably aren't going to have sandbags.
You're not going to run, probably.
You're not going to run, you know, so
not far
anyway. You know, it's it changes the training slightly. And the preparation, like obviously you have to book hotels, you have to fly, you have to get food prepped and all this stuff.
Did you choose the Lowlands Throwdown as your first pick?
Did I? I think I did. But the reason I did was because I'd been to their competition in years past, and I thought it was good, well-run competition. Um, so I picked it before we knew it was going to be online.
And what did you think when you saw some of these names in here, like BKG, Adrian Munviller, Ioannis Papadopoulos? I probably didn't say that right.
Sounded good.
I mean, Bronislaw Olenkowicki, whatever that guy's name is. I mean, these are all Frederick Egidius. I mean, these are all scary guys. Where you're like, oh shit, I chose the wrong one.
No, because I just, everyone can seem scary until it's 3, 2, 1, go, and then
right.
It doesn't really matter. Then you just have to go your hardest. I don't know. I never really felt like I was shit out of luck or anything,
And then you did fantastic. These are the kind of numbers that you want to win an event. You have a 5th, a 9th, a 10th, a 5th, an 8th, and a 5th.
Yeah, consistency.
Yeah, crazy consistent. And you tied with some guy. Oh yeah, this guy has a great name. You tied with Uldis Upaniks. Uldis Upaniks. Did you meet him?
Yeah, I met him. I met him the other day at we had the athlete dinner yesterday. He's a quiet guy. He's really nice.
He got 17th place in workout 4, where you got 5th place.
What one was that? Snatches, I think, maybe.
Yeah, he got 38 reps and you got 46. Damn, you did good in that.
That was a good workout.
So, I know the semifinals were stressful because you're basically working out in the dark, right? You don't know what anyone else is doing, how they're doing, and every day they're releasing the scores just slowly, like they dribble out like at noon or at 3 o'clock, right?
They with the time difference, they release at like 9 p.m. So you're waiting. Okay. You're waiting all day till 9.
And then when they release the final scores, you see you're in 3rd place. Are you still feeling confident, or are you like, oh shit, that I could still be penalized, shit could still move around?
Yeah, it was. You do feel a little bit of that, but what was nice was you get a email saying, okay, your video has been verified. So I got my videos verified, which is soon after the qualification, like within the hour, and that was kind of like, okay, that's good news.
Okay, step 1, check. The worst they can do now is say they fucked up and confuse my video with someone else's.
Yeah, yeah.
The odds go way down. And then so basically at that point, you're going to come to the games, and then this is your first CrossFit Games.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it is.
First
yes.
one, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Did you think you would make it this quickly in your career at 24 years old?
I never really set an expectation on what age I had to be or when I qualified, but no, I think this is probably about the right time.
And did you have to change? Did you have plans this week, instead of the CrossFit Games, that you had to push away?
No, I was lucky in that sense.
Calendar's wide open.
Yeah.
And obviously, the two big things that are scary, obviously, are the fact that you would test positive for COVID and couldn't compete, or that you couldn't get travel. How hard was it to come to the United States?
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. What happened was we qualified, and then we were like, oh, great. And then you look up how to get to the States, and turns out it's quite difficult. So then everyone's onto CrossFit. Everyone's kind of panicking. Okay, how are you going to get to the States? CrossFit, what can you do? Are you going to get the athletes like special allowances or whatever? And we didn't hear much at the start. And then rumors started going around, okay, you have to travel to Dubai for 2 weeks or to Mexico for 2 weeks to be out of the EU so you can travel straight into the States on an ESTA. And then CrossFit are saying, okay, we're onto Homeland Security, we're going to get this sorted. So you're kind of fighting between, okay, I need at least 2 weeks in Dubai or Mexico, so I need to leave with a potential week of quarantine in Madison. We didn't know if we had to do that or not. So you need to leave 3 weeks before the games start. And CrossFit we're now 3.5 weeks out from the games, and CrossFit are still not saying we've got you this pass. So it got very close between, we had to go halfway across the world to go nearly the full way across the world, you know.
And were you planning on doing that?
Yeah, we were all looking into it. We were all looking into getting some accommodation in Dubai, and
God, that would have been expensive.
very expensive, very, very expensive. But then literally, what was it? They got the pass, so they're onto Homeland Security. They got the national interest exemption, which it was called. We got it on a Thursday, and by Saturday I was in Georgia, training with
and wow! And where did your flight? Did your flight fly directly from Dublin to Atlanta?
No, I had to go through Chicago.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so you fly 8 hours to Chicago, wait 2 hours, and then travel 2 hours down.
Okay, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And then and then no quarantine or anything. You're good to go.
Yeah, nothing over here. I think maybe I'm back. It's a self-quarantine kind of thing, you know.
It's not like Australia where they put you in a hotel and lock you away.
No, and make you pay for it. No, it's not like that, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good. I think Canada might be doing some shit like that too.
Oh, really?
I think. Makes me want to vomit. So what are your do you have plans after the games? How long you're staying?
Yeah, so I actually do have some cool plans. Me and my girlfriend, while I was in Georgia, I had the genius idea of heading to Mexico for a week on the way home to like some resort. So I booked that there the other day. It's very cheap to get to Mexico from here. I think it's like $150 per person to fly from Chicago to Cancun. So I thought that was a good chance. And sure, you know, I'm already on this half of the side of the world. You know, I might as well go to Mexico. I can go to any of the local spots anytime I want back home.
Right. You're gonna love it. Okay, so you're here. You registered. You took whatever tests, virus tests. You passed those.
Yep.
You're all good.
All good.
And what were people freaking out? What's the talk about the guys who are any of the other athletes freaking out since what happened to Bethany Shadburn?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know if they're freaking out, but there was definitely talk. Like you could see at the we had like a athlete orientation kind of gathering.
The dinner?
Not the dinner. The morning after, where they kind of tour you around and show you the venue kind of thing.
Facility.
Yeah.
Okay, that was this morning.
That was this morning. And like there's a kind of question and answers part, and people are asking like, are there going to be more testing throughout the weekend, and questions like that, and if you have symptoms or whatever. And then while we went in and tested out the kayaks and tested out the swimming, because Bethany Shadburn trains with her crew. The other members of her crew are going to be separated from the main group for the whole weekend. So they had to come at a different time on a different mode of transport, stay like on the other side of the field, the two of them, try the swim at a different time, try the kayaks at a different time. And I think they're going to have to be in like there's going to have to be like an empty lane between them and everyone else in the games.
Have you seen Carrie Pierce or Danielle Brandon?
Only,
like with your own eyes?
Only from afar, because they were separated down the other end of the field.
Oh man, you should get a rock and put, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Sam Stewart," and just throw it across the field at them. They probably feel lonely over there. You could even tie like a little parachute, you know, like you used to do to rocks when you were a kid, and you throw it and then it kind of sails down. Yeah, I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard earlier today that they are also, not only will they have their own area when possible, but that they will always be in the final heat, regardless of their placement. Therefore, no one else has to touch the equipment after them.
Oh, I didn't know. That makes a bit of sense, I guess, if they're trying to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, come on, Sam. Nothing makes sense. But I appreciate you throwing that in there.
That's fair.
It's impressive that you made it here. You are. Is it tripping any of your family and friends out that like there's this planet Earth and it circles the sun in this galaxy, and through one of the most non-political open competitions in the history of mankind, the CrossFit Open, you have climbed your way to what I've always thought was more impressive than anything that they do in the Olympics, because this net is so wide, right? I mean, this is all of humanity can enter this. And now you're in this list of, God, let's see, let's go to the games. 38, 40, just 2 couldn't show up, but you're in this list of the 40 fittest men in the world, and you're the only Irish flag. Are people in your circle tripping? Like your mom and dad? And
Yeah, I think I'm pretty chilled, so I just kind of take things in my stride. I don't get too caught up in any of that. But like my friends, the people I work with, the people at my gym, I guess my parents, and they're excited for me for sure.
let's say there are sports that are harder. Let's say becoming a UFC champion is harder than becoming the fittest man in the world. I'm okay with that. Someone could say it's 10 times harder. Fine, I'm okay with that. The one thing, though, that this sport has, and granted, it's hard as fuck, I'm not suggesting that it's not, is that there's so many people entering.
Yeah.
And it's so transparent. Like, you just see it. There's no politics. Like, this is it. And it was always, men and women get paid the same amount. All you need to do is enter the open, and
you're in.
You don't got to deal with any sports bodies. You don't got to like kiss anyone's ass at the U.S. Olympic Weightlifting Commission. Like, it's just
That's
like
true.
These are the fastest cars in the neighborhood.
Well, I guess I know exactly what you mean. Like, it's truly earned. You know, you didn't earn through your actions, not earned through anything else or given to you.
And there's so many people doing it.
Yeah.
So many people. And truly, if anyone thought they could beat any of you 40, they've tried. Meaning, there's no one. There may be a guy out there. I guess I shouldn't say that. That's going to really piss some people off. I truly think that these are the 40 fittest guys on the planet. Someone could say or disagree with me. That's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But it's an amazing pyramid of hierarchy to get to it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that the Russians can't make it here? It's kind of disgusting, right? It's like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
We're all humans. Get them over here and let's see everyone compete.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Like, it would be heartbreaking if you were in that situation. I know it doesn't seem like there's any really good reason why they aren't here. You know, if it's not like there's no valid reason. You know.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. They're not. Yeah, exactly. Unless maybe they weren't going to go home.
That's what I think. That might be what they're afraid of.
I think they stopped doing that in the 70s. Maybe I'm wrong.
Fair.
Maybe I'm wrong. Is doing this podcast a distraction for you, being that you compete tomorrow? Has any of this been bad for you to take time? What would you be doing if you weren't doing this podcast right now?
Not much. Packing my bag for tomorrow. You know, I'm not like a super anal about anything. You know, I'm just like go with the flow. I'd be talking to someone else if I wasn't talking to you, so I might as well be talking to you. You know.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Maybe throughout the weekend I'll try to bug you. No pressure if you don't respond, but unfortunately for you, I have your phone number.
Very good.
And feel free to send me any pictures, naked pictures of Travis, like if he's changing by the lake or anything.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
And thank you very much for your time. This was awesome. I'm trying to think. This is the only athlete I've interviewed on site. I mean, it's only been 2 days, so who knows? Maybe there'll be others.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate your time.
Sevan, I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much.
Yep.